can I just say one thing firstly? I love the name Eat Sleep Boxing Repeat.
Welcome back to ESBR Boxing's YouTube channel. We are back for another final prediction video. Joshua Buatsi, Zach Parker, main event in Manchester tomorrow night or tonight or maybe yesterday, depending on when you're watching this video. Delighted as always to be joined by Owen McKendry. Owen, good to be joined by you as always. Start of a busy month, isn't it?
Mm.
This event, but yeah, a good main event, and we're here to give our final predictions ahead of the fight. Hand things over to you, Noah, and Joshua Buatsi fairly strong favorite here, but yeah, what's your final prediction here?
Um, I think I'll be back in the bookies. I think Buatsi is rightly the favourite. I think he's been in with better opposition than Zach Parker. Even in losing, obviously to Callum Smith, that's still a far better name on a resume than Zach Parker's got. I think Zach Parker's obviously been a bit of a stop-start career. Changing weights as well. Obviously, he was meant to have that big derby fight against Demetrius Andrade. Obviously at Pride Park, that never happened for him, and since then, not much has. So I think Buatsi is he's got a better pedigree from amateur days into the pros. He's fought better opponents. He's fought on bigger cards, bigger shows. So I'll be back in the experience of Buatsi to see out. Don't want to say not entertaining, but I don't think it'll be the best fight, and I think Buatsi will cruise to a unanimous decision win.
Yeah, look, there's a few things to pick here. I feel like this should possibly be a London or a Birmingham fight. Zach
Mm.
Parker from Derby, as you mentioned, Buatsi from South London. So why it's in Manchester, I'm not sure. I feel like it would have been a bigger fight elsewhere, but here we are. I think with Zach Parker, he's not done too much wrong in his career. It's just one
Mm.
loss to John Ryder, which was due to an injury, which was a kind of a shame that fight ended the way it did. And won all of his other fights, but I just think there's been something about his performances the last two or three fights where he's maybe not looked great even against limited opposition.
Mm.
Buatsi, on the other hand, yeah, I thought his stock went up despite losing to Cam Smith earlier this year. Um, so I'd be shocked if Buatsi didn't win. I can see why the odds are as skewed as they are. I'll um I'll go for a late stoppage. I think Buatsi really wants to make a statement. It's his it's his first fight back after losing. It's his Queensbury debut. I think he'll want to make have an emphatic performance. I'll go for a stoppage round 9 or 10. Seeing as we're both going for Buatsi wins, Owen, I've got to ask your opinion on this. Do you think Josh Buatsi won a medal at the Olympics a long time ago now? Think big things were expected.
Mm.
Some people have been a bit disappointed with his career, but in 2026, will that be the year he fights for a world title, do you think? It's a bit up in the air with when Bivol's going to fight next, who he's going to fight next, but there's a chance the belts could all go up in the air next year, and Buatsi could be in a prime position to fight for one of them. Do you see that happening?
I think if the bouts split up, then definitely. If the bouts manage to stay together, I think someone like Benavidez is Buatsi going to get that fight? Maybe, maybe not. I would personally, I don't think it will happen, but I'd like to see the Smith rematch. I thought it was a really close fight. Probably just again higher level professional experience from Callum Smith, seen him through that. But that is a fight that I know we've said it on different videos. That is a huge domestic fight. As good as it was seeing it on the Saudi card, that should be headlining for some form of maybe like an interim title or a number one contender, that type of slot. Or if there is a vacant, a WBA, IBO, WBO, one of those bouts if they become vacant. Um, I'd like to see Buatsi fight for a world title just to see, if he can get into that level, can he stay at that level, can he stick around? Because I expected him to do more than he has so far. The crop of Olympians like Joe Cordina, etc. I think that was expected to be Buatsi. So I think it all depends on the bouts. If they don't get split up, I don't think we see it. And again, if he's very underwhelming against Zach Parker, the likes of Turkey, etc., they're not going to be interested in someone like Buatsi if he's struggling against someone like Zach Parker. So if the bouts get split up, yes. If they don't, I think we'll just see him in another domestic clash, unfortunately.
Yeah, of course. I think you speaking about Buatsi possibly being underwhelming reminds me of the event that you were at a couple of years ago. Powell Stepien. Sorry to remind you, Owen, but I'll take this opportunity to apologise and to thank you for representing ESBR there a couple of years ago. Moving on, I want to ask you one more thing, Owen. Where's your head at with the yard fight? Because I feel like we always talk about these things, don't we? We always talk about fights that haven't happened, that might never happen, but we have spoken about about potentially happening for a long time. Yard facing Benavidez, what, 3 weeks after this fight?
Mhm.
If we're being honest, I'm sure we're both expecting him not to win that fight. It's just a case of what account does he give him himself? How does he lose it? But I would love to see him win, by the way, but I think most people are backing him to lose that fight. Is that still a fight you want to see? Is it a fight you think we will see?
Um, it's a fight I want to see, but as I said on the video I've done for Yard Benavidez, Anthony Yard's had such a strange career. It's impossible to know who he's going to fight next. He fights someone at elite level, goes back to outside of Lyndon Arthur, who's he really fought, by the elite. So it's a strange career, but I think it's a really intriguing fight because the shots Callum Smith landed, if Anthony Yard lands those, does
Mm,
he put Joshua Buatsi to sleep? Probably.
mm,
But it's a completely different style of fighter. So can Yard land those shots on Buatsi? So that is a really, really intriguing domestic clash. It's not a last chance saloon, but whoever loses that fight, there are question marks over what level they would go to next. It's not one of my famous retirement shouts, but
mm.
it's more of a, what is next? How do they rebuild? What avenue do they go through? So I think there's a lot on the line with that fight. So
Yeah.
I would love to see it, but Anthony Yard's career management, it's highly, highly likely we wouldn't get to see it, which is very unfortunate.
Yeah, I hate to be negative, but I'm probably on the side that I'm not convinced we see that fight. And I
Mhm.
just think if Yards takes a bit of a beating against Benavidez, he's probably not going to want to fight back Buatsi next.
Mhm.
Commercially, that's not the fight to happen next. And then it gets to the point where I think Yard's 34 years old now, Buatsi a couple of years younger. You're kind of running out of time. So we'll see. We'll see. Look, Buatsi has to get past Zach Parker next. We'll see if he can do that. And then we will maybe have another discussion. Owen, good to speak to you as always. We'll speak to you again very soon.
Pleasure as always, mate.